A rule is a rule. That's what I was told in college through a story that has never left me. And it's also the foundation of my coaching. So the story goes like this. There was once an illiterate toller whose only job was ringing the church bell. So when a new priest came in, he announced that anybody who is not educated will not work in my church. The toller was really taken aback and he said, what part of ringing a bell needs education? The priest said it doesn't. But a rule is a rule is a rule. Now the toller wasn't going to give up that easily. So he walked 12 miles to the bishop's church and appealed to the bishop. And the bishop agreed that, yeah, this entire rule was probably a little unfair, but shrugged, it is the priest's church and his rules apply. So the toller left, broke and humiliated. On his way back, he craved for a smoke, but he didn't have one. So he walked a mile and he couldn't find a smoke shop. He walked another one and he still couldn't find a smoke shop. So he said that now that I'm out of a job, I might as well open one. He opened one, did really well, opened two, two became 10, and a man who couldn't spell his own name built a business. Years later, when the banker asked him to sign papers, the toller was very honest in saying, I don't know how to sign. The banker smiled. If you've done all this without education, what would you have done with it? The toller replied, I would have been ringing a bell in a church. Now that story changed me because I have lived that conditioning. That conditioning where rules, degrees, hierarchies decide your worth. Now, 15 years of my education left me with a diploma. Now, by the world's gauge, not having a degree is considered less. And when your boss has a Stanford MBA and you are just the guy with a diploma, society tells you that he's worth just a little bit more than you. So when that boss left the organization, he handed over to me a database. So messy, so ridiculous that one error on my part could cost the company more than my annual salary. So I ran the system that I had inherited and I ran it for about 2 weeks. And then I stopped. I found a tech resource. I collaborated with him. I fought with seniors to get funding for the project. I escalated to the president when I got stuck and I got it automated. So 9 years later, after several job changes, in a chance interview, I meet a person who was still using that same system that I had built 9 years ago. Thousands and thousands of hours would have gotten saved for multiple people in my work. And my work had outlived my tenure. And that's when it hit me that your worth isn't decided by what's printed on a certificate. It's decided by what you create, by what you solve, by what you dare to question. And for every MBA in a boardroom, there's a dropout who's actually building an empire out there. Education can teach you the rules, but it can also teach you to obey them. And if you're not careful, you'll spend your whole life ringing someone else's bell. That's why I coach, not to fix what's broken, but to remind you what's already burning inside. The world measures you by degrees, by salaries and titles. I measure you by courage, by curiosity, by your willingness to step beyond fear. Because when you stop chasing permission, you start discovering possibilities. You might meet the entrepreneur in you, the consultant, the actor, the traveler, the artist. You'll never know until you step out and overcome the fear of not getting a salary. Life is too short to keep ringing someone else's bell when you were really meant to build your own. This is Sid Bahri. Until next time, be fearless.